What if the reason you drift when you walk, that quiet pull to one side, that moment of hesitation before your body decides which way is straight, has nothing to do with your legs at all? And what if the real cause is something happening inside your neck right now that nobody has ever taken the time to explain to you? Here is what I see happen over and over again in my practice. Someone starts drifting when they walk. They reach for walls when they stand up. Their body hesitates in ways it never used to. They go to their doctor and they hear the same things every single time. Watch your step, hold the railing, maybe it's just age. So they go home. They try a few leg exercises because that seems logical. Walking is about legs, right? And nothing changes. The drifting continues. The hesitation continues. The wall reaching continues. And eventually, they accept it as inevitable. I am here today to tell you it is not inevitable. My name is Dr. James Calloway. I have been working as a physical therapist with adults over 70 for more than 2 decades. And in that time, I have learned something that most standard medical appointments never cover. The drifting is not coming from your legs. It is coming from a specific, addressable problem in your neck. And the moment you understand what is actually happening inside your body, the path forward becomes very clear. Today, I am going to explain exactly what is happening in plain, simple terms. And then I am going to walk you through 8 targeted exercises that address the real problem directly, not the symptoms. No gym, no equipment, just a wall, a chair, and less than 12 minutes a day. If you have not subscribed yet, please hit that button now and turn on the bell. For 42 or decrease, so you never miss content made specifically for adults over 70 who want honest answers and real solutions. Stay with me. What I'm about to explain will change how you think about your balance permanently. What is actually happening? The real mechanism. Let me explain what is genuinely happening inside your body. Because once you understand the mechanism, everything else makes sense. At the base of your skull sits a structure called the cerebellum. Think of it as your brain's balance command center, the department that runs the coordination show. Every second you are upright, it receives signals from your muscles, your joints, your inner ear, and your eyes, and uses all of that information to make constant tiny corrections that keep you walking straight. When it is working well, you never feel it. You simply walk. When it starts running at reduced capacity, when the signals coming in are weaker or slower than they should be, you drift. You grab walls. Every step feels slightly uncertain in a way you cannot quite explain to anyone. Now here is the part that changes everything. The arteries that carry blood to your cerebellum travel through the bones of your neck. The cervical vertebrae, one level at a time on their way up to your brain. So when the muscles of your neck become chronically tight, from years of posture habits, from old injuries, from the way most of us have been sitting for decades, they can quietly place pressure on those arteries and gradually reduce the blood supply reaching your cerebellum. Not dramatically, not in a way that shows up clearly on a standard scan or triggers an alarm at a routine appointment, but enough, over months and years, to slowly erode your balance and coordination in exactly the way you have been experiencing. That is the real mechanism behind walking drift in many adults over 70. And here is why this matters so much. If the cause is reduced blood flow to your cerebellum from chronic neck tension, then leg exercises alone will never fix it. You are training the wrong system. You are treating the symptom while the actual cause continues unchallenged. The correct approach addresses both sides simultaneously. First, release the restriction in the neck to restore better circulation to the cerebellum. Second, retrain the cerebellum directly with specific exercises it can use to rebuild the balance signals it has been missing. That is exactly what today's protocol does. Why standard advice fails? I want to take a moment to address why the standard advice, leg exercises, balance boards, walking poles, so often fails to make a meaningful difference. It is not bad advice. Leg strength matters, balance practice matters. But if the cerebellum, the command center that coordinates all of it, is operating on a reduced blood supply, then strengthening the legs below it is like upgrading the engine of a car whose fuel line is partially blocked. The power is there. It just cannot get through properly. This is why so many people do everything they are told and still drift, still hesitate, still reach for the wall. The fuel line is the neck, and that is where we start today. Let me tell you about Raymond Kowalski. Raymond was 73 years old. A retired postal worker from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a man who had spent 31 years walking routes in all weathers without a second thought about his balance. For 18 months before he came to see me, he had been drifting. Not dramatically, just that quiet, persistent pull to the right that made every walk feel uncertain. He had tried a balance board his son had bought him. He had done the leg exercises his GP recommended. He had purchased walking poles he now kept in the corner of the garage because using them felt like giving up. His daughter noticed that he had stopped walking to the mailbox. Raymond had started driving to the end of his own driveway, rather than admitting the 10-meter walk felt unreliable. He sat across from me and said, "My doctor told me it was age-related degeneration. I just assumed that meant there was nothing to be done." I watched him walk across my clinic floor. The drift to the right was clear and consistent. I assessed his cervical range of motion and found significant restriction on the right side, chronic tension that had been building most likely for years. Nobody had ever assessed his neck in the context of his balance. Over 8 weeks, Raymond worked through a protocol almost identical to what I am going to show you today. Neck release first, every morning. Cerebellum retraining exercises daily, in his hallway beside his kitchen chair. At week 6, his daughter called my office. Raymond had walked to the mailbox, then to the end of the block, then around the block. He told me afterward, "I thought my walking days were just getting shorter. Nobody ever mentioned my neck." Nobody had, until now. The 2-group framework. Today's protocol works in 2 groups, and you need both. They work together, not independently. Group 1 releases the neck tension that has been restricting blood flow to your cerebellum. Think of this as opening the pathway. Group 2 directly retrains your cerebellum with specific balance challenges it can use to rebuild coordination signals. Think of this as using the pathway once it is open. Together, they create the conditions your balance system needs. Release without retraining leaves the cerebellum understimulated. Retraining without release leaves the blood supply insufficient. Together, they create the conditions your balance system needs to genuinely improve. Let us begin. Before we go into the exercises, I want to hear from you right now. Does the drifting description sound familiar? Do you reach for walls when you stand or turn? Drop a yes or no in the comments below. I read every single comment, and your experience directly shapes what I cover next. Hit subscribe now. 8 exercises, 2 groups, less than 12 minutes a day. Let us get into it. Group 1, neck release exercises. Exercise 1, base of neck rotation release. Why this matters first. The junction where your neck meets your upper back is a critical area. This area often accumulates stiffness that places pressure on the arteries feeding your cerebellum. How to do it. Sit in a sturdy chair with your back straight and your feet flat on the floor. Gently drop your chin slightly toward your chest. Just a small movement. Place 2 fingertips against the bony prominence at the very base of your neck. That noticeable bump. Slowly rotate your head to the right, using your fingertips to apply gentle guiding pressure in the same direction. Move only as far as feels comfortable. You are looking for a mild stretching sensation, never pain or pinching. Hold for 3 to 4 seconds. Return slowly to center. Complete 5 repetitions on each side. Practice once in the morning and once in the evening. Most people notice range increasing in 1 to 2 weeks. That increasing range is the restriction releasing. That is exactly what you want to feel. Exercise 2, side neck stretch. Why this matters. Running diagonally from behind your ear down to your collarbone is a large muscle called the sternocleidomastoid. It is one of the most chronically overworked muscles in the body, and when it stays tight, it places sustained pressure on the structures running through your cervical spine. This includes the vertebral arteries that carry blood upward to your cerebellum. Releasing it is not optional, it is foundational to everything that follows. How to do it? Place one hand flat against your collarbone on one side and press gently downward to anchor the tissue below. Slowly tilt your head toward the opposite shoulder and lift your chin very slightly upward. You should feel a clear, deep stretch running along the full length of the side of your neck. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds, breathing slowly and steadily throughout. Do not pull. Do not force. Let gravity and time do the work. That is how chronic muscle tension releases safely. Return slowly to center. Repeat on the other side. Complete 2 repetitions on each side per session. 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. Works well alongside exercise 1. Exercise 3, neck self-massage. Why this matters. Stretching addresses muscle length. Massage addresses the deeper tissue tension that accumulates over years and does not respond fully to stretching alone. The kind that quietly narrows the space around the cervical structures, reducing the flow your cerebellum depends on. This step is not optional, it is what opens the pathway at the tissue level that the stretches cannot fully reach. How to do it? Using the fingertips of both hands, begin at the base of your skull. Apply firm, circular pressure as you work slowly downward along both sides of your neck toward the base, following the muscles that run on either side of the vertebrae. Spend approximately 60 to 90 seconds working down each side. Look for areas that feel noticeably tighter or more tender than the surrounding tissue. Spend a little extra time on those spots. Not digging in painfully, but applying steady, patient pressure until you feel the tissue begin to soften and yield slightly beneath your fingers. Practice this once daily, ideally in the morning. Together, these 3 movements form the complete neck release sequence, and it takes less than 5 minutes. Now the pathway is open. Group 2 uses it. Group 2, Cerebellum training. These 5 exercises directly challenge and retrain the balance command center, giving it the specific inputs it needs to rebuild the coordination signals that have been degrading. Each one targets a different dimension of the balance problem. Together, they address the full picture. Exercise 4, slow motion straight line walk. Why this matters. Before you can retrain your walking pattern, you need to slow it down enough that your brain can consciously register and correct each individual step. At normal walking speed, momentum covers up the wobble. Slow motion removes the momentum and forces every muscle and every balance signal to work with full intention. The wobbling you feel during this exercise is not a problem. It is your cerebellum being challenged, and a challenged cerebellum is a retraining cerebellum. How to do it? Find a clear hallway. Place one hand lightly on the wall if you need it to start. Begin walking at the slowest pace you can physically manage, so slow that each individual step takes a full 3 to 4 seconds to complete. Lift your foot deliberately. Pause briefly in the air. Reach your heel slightly forward. Lower it to the floor with full control. Feel your weight shift completely through the foot before beginning the next step. Walk 10 steps forward. Turn carefully using small marching steps. Walk 10 steps back. That is 1 set. Complete 3 sets. What to focus on? Look straight ahead, not down at your feet. Your balance system needs to work while your eyes are focused on where you are going. That is how it works in real life, and that is how it needs to train. Progress tip. Once this feels smooth, try it on carpet versus hardwood. The slight surface change forces your nervous system to adapt and generalize the pattern, which is exactly what you need for real-world safety. Exercise 5, Tandem heel-to-toe walk. Why this matters? This exercise directly trains dynamic balance, your balance while you are actually moving, not standing still. It simulates the kind of walking that produces the most falls in adults over 70, navigating narrow spaces and stepping around furniture. Training this specific skill in a controlled environment is what prepares your body for the real-world version. How to do it? Stand at one end of your hallway with one hand lightly touching the wall. Place your right foot directly in front of your left so that the heel of your right foot nearly touches the toes of your left. Then step your left foot forward in the same way, heel to toe in a perfectly straight line. Take 10 steps forward. Turn carefully. Take 10 steps back. That is 1 set. Complete 2 sets. What to focus on? Keep your eyes forward, not down at your feet. Walk slowly and with full deliberate control. If you need to touch the wall for a moment, do it and continue. Consistency matters far more than perfection in this exercise. Progress tip. As this becomes more comfortable, try it with your arms crossed over your chest rather than extended for balance. This removes the arm compensation and forces your core and ankles to take on more of the stabilizing work. Exercise 6, standing marches with crossbody tap. Why this matters? This exercise rebuilds 2 things at once. First, the hip flexor strength needed to lift your feet clearly off the ground. Second, and more importantly, it trains cross-body coordination, activating the neural pathways between the brain's hemispheres. Interhemispheric coordination is the cerebellum's job. When working well, your movements are smooth and automatic. When it degrades, movements become hesitant and poorly timed. The timing in this exercise is what trains the cerebellum directly. How to do it? Stand tall behind a sturdy chair with both hands resting lightly on the back for support. Lift your right knee toward your chest and tap it with your left hand. Lower with control, then repeat with the other side. That is 1 repetition. Complete 10 repetitions on each side, 20 total taps, moving slowly and deliberately. The tapping hand and the rising knee should meet at the same moment. That precise timing is what retrains the cerebellum. Progress tip. Once this feels comfortable, try it without holding the chair, arms extended to your sides instead. Eventually, try 2 or 3 repetitions with your eyes closed to deepen the neurological challenge significantly. Exercise 7, fixed point turn. Let's discuss why this matters. Dizziness and disorientation during turning movements Pivoting in the kitchen, turning to look behind you, getting up and changing direction, is one of the most common triggers for falls after 70. And yet it is almost never specifically trained. This exercise trains exactly that skill. It forces your visual system and your vestibular system, the inner ear's balance mechanism, to coordinate actively during rotation. That visual vestibular coordination is precisely the task the cerebellum struggles with when its blood supply is reduced. And it is precisely what this exercise rebuilds. Now here is how to do it. Stand facing a wall with a sturdy chair or countertop nearby. Choose a fixed point at roughly eye level. A light switch, a picture frame, any clear mark on the wall. Lock your gaze on that point. Now take 3 slow steps and execute a complete 360-degree turn. During the turn, keep your eyes locked on that fixed point for as long as physically possible. The moment the turn is complete, find that same fixed point again immediately. Complete 5 full turns per session. Start very slowly, especially in the first week. As this becomes easier over the following weeks, gradually increase the speed of the turn. What to focus on? Do not close your eyes during this exercise. The entire benefit comes from the active coordination between what your eyes see and what your inner ear feels during the rotation. Stay near the wall throughout, especially in week 1. Exercise 8. Multi-direction weight shifts. Why this matters? Most falls do not happen going straight forward. They happen when you reach sideways for something on a shelf, turn slightly while carrying something, or shift your weight in an unexpected direction. Your body's ability to move its center of gravity in multiple directions and recover back to center is the core skill that catches you before a stumble becomes a fall. This exercise trains that recovery reflex in all 4 directions. It is, in many ways, the most practical exercise in today's protocol. How to do it? Stand behind a sturdy chair with both hands resting lightly on the back, feet hip-width apart, back straight. Slowly shift your weight to your right foot, lifting your left foot just 1 inch off the floor. Hold for 3 seconds. Return to center. Shift to your left foot, lifting the right foot just 1 inch. Hold 3 seconds. Return. Now shift your weight gently forward onto the balls of your feet, just far enough to feel the challenge, without your heels leaving the floor. Hold 3 seconds. Return. Then shift gently backward onto your heels. Hold 3 seconds. Return to center. That full sequence, right, left, forward, back, is 1 complete round. Complete 3 rounds. Progress tip. As you grow stronger and more confident, gradually reduce your grip on the chair, from full hands to fingertips only to no support at all. Each step down forces your ankles, hips, and core to absorb more of the stabilizing work. That progressive loading is how genuine balance strength is built. Safety warning. Before you begin, please take this seriously, because your safety is not a footnote in this video, it is the entire point. First, these exercises are designed for generally healthy older adults. If you have been diagnosed with a neurological condition such as Parkinson's disease, or if you have a history of stroke, or if a physician has told you that you have significant vertebral artery disease or severe cervical instability, please speak with your doctor or a licensed physical therapist before attempting any of these movements. Your situation may require a modified or supervised approach. Second, for the neck release exercises specifically, never force any movement. The stretches and rotations in Group 1 should always feel like a gentle, mild pull, never sharp, never pinching, and never accompanied by dizziness or tingling down your arms. If you feel any of those things, stop immediately and consult your doctor before continuing. Patience with the neck exercises will serve you far better than pushing too hard, too fast. Third, for all balance exercises in Group 2, always have a wall, sturdy chair, or countertop within reach before you start. This is not because I expect you to fall, it is because having that safety option nearby allows you to train with more confidence and less tension, and that actually makes every exercise more neurologically effective. Fourth, never do these exercises in socks on a hard floor. Socks on smooth surfaces are one of the most common causes of slips at home. Go barefoot if you can. It is ideal for balance training because it maximizes the sensory feedback your brain receives from the ground. If you prefer footwear, non-slip soles only. Fifth and most importantly, if at any point you experience sharp pain, sudden dizziness, or anything that simply does not feel right, stop immediately. There is no movement here worth risking an injury over. Progress at your own pace. Let your body tell you when it is ready for more. That is how lasting improvement is built. Fourth, never do these exercises in socks on a hard floor. Socks on smooth surfaces are one of the most common causes of slips at home. Go barefoot if you can. It is ideal for balance training because it maximizes the sensory feedback your brain receives from the ground. If you prefer footwear, non-slip soles only. Fifth, and most importantly, if at any point you experience sharp pain, sudden dizziness, a feeling of the room spinning, or anything that simply does not feel right, stop immediately. There is no movement here worth risking an injury over. Progress at your own pace. Let your body tell you when it is ready for more. That is how lasting improvement is built. Here is the simplest way to fit all 8 exercises into your day. Every morning, spend approximately 5 minutes on the 3 neck release exercises: the rotation, the side stretch, and the self-massage. Think of this as opening the pathway so your cerebellum can receive what it needs throughout the day. Then at any point during the day, even in short 2-minute bursts, work through the 5 cerebellum training exercises. The slow-motion walk and heel-to-toe walk can be done in any hallway. The marches, turns, and weight shifts can all be done in a small space beside a chair. The complete routine takes less than 12 minutes total. And these exercises work best done consistently, a little every day, rather than long sessions once or twice a week. Do not skip the days when you feel steady. Those are actually the most important days of all. Every repetition builds the neural pathway that fires automatically the next time your balance is challenged. You are doing the work now so your body can protect you later, in that split second when it matters most. The drifting, the wobbling, the reaching for walls, none of that has to be the final chapter. Your cerebellum has not given up. It may simply need better blood flow, better daily input, and better targeted practice. When you give it those 3 things consistently, it can respond slowly, quietly, and steadily. The people who improve the most are not always the ones who push the hardest. They are the ones who show up every day, even when nothing seems to be changing, because the brain often improves before you can feel it. New pathways are being trained. Old signals are being reawakened. And then one morning, you walk across the kitchen and realize something. You did not reach for the wall. You simply walked. Start small today. Do the neck release. Try the slow motion walk. That is enough for day 1. Add 1 more exercise every few days. Your goal is not perfection. Your goal is to teach your body, 1 careful repetition at a time, how to trust the ground again. Give yourself 6 weeks of steady practice, 6 weeks of showing up. And you may begin to feel something you have been missing: more control, more confidence, and more trust in your own steps. Now I want to hear from you. Does the drifting description sound familiar, in yourself or someone you love? Leave your answer below. Tell me your age and where you are watching from. Your experience may be exactly what another viewer needs to read today. And if this gave you something real, please share it. If you know someone who grabs the counter when they stand, who avoids walking outside, who feels nervous turning in the hallway, share this video with them. This information may help them feel safer, steadier, and more independent. I am Dr. Elijah Cater. Keep working, keep showing up, and I will see you in the next one. One more thing before you go. Balance is only one part of the fall prevention picture. Even when your balance improves, even when the cerebellum is receiving better input and the neck restriction has eased, your legs still need the strength to catch you in that split second when it matters most. That is why I made a dedicated video on safe leg strengthening exercises specifically for adults over 70. No gym, no equipment. Every exercise is designed to be done at home, beside a chair, at your own pace. It is the next piece of this, and it is on the screen right now. Click it next. I will walk you through every step.